Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to remote learning, boys and girls. This is our third lesson of remote learning. We discussed about the democracy and the human rights in our previous lesson. This chapter continued till whole 2 weeks, and now it is the time to revise this chapter and reinforce the topic through worksheet. So here is a worksheet for you. Before I start, just keep your copies and books and your stationery items with you so that you may do the written work of this worksheet after once you complete the discussion and revision with me. So democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. With the democracy, there are different favors which are given to the people of a country. For example, they may have a right of voting. They may select the government of their own choice. They may find the justice in the decisions of government, and they may have a law and order situation within the region. Now, the different conditions are here for democracy to flourish, and they are the stability, the free of class and difference, and it is the better way to exercise the rights. Now, what uh, the humanitarian organizations, they work in those conditions when there are no democratic situations. For example, when it is difficult to democracy to work out. For example, the natural disasters and the war-like situations. For example, during the flood and tsunami, the earthquakes and many other situations could be there in which the democratic government is not possible to work properly. It is not efficiently working otherwise. So at that time it is very important to for the human right activists or the humanitarian organizations to work for the welfare of the people who are the sufferers. So different discussions were done regarding these organizations. They are working throughout the world, and in our country even we have different humanitarian organizations which are working for the human rights. We also discussed about the role of Mr. Uh, Nelson Mandela and about the Mustafa Kamal for their work and their struggle for the democracy in their own country. So let's talk about the reinforcement of the chapter through this worksheet. So here is first question for you. This is about the fill in the blanks. Number one is Dash brought independence to South Africa, and this was Mr. Nelson Mandela. Second was apartheid means setting apart. ANC stand for African National Congress. Then FD Clerk abolished the applicable law in Dash and became 99 became this is overruled. This is not a part of your syllabus, so D is exempted. So let's start with the E. The man who organized his country, the Turkey, was Mr. Mustafa Kamal. Number F. The civil rights movement in USA were led Mr. Martin Luther. Dash was killed in Memphis in 1968. This was Mr. Martin Luther. Yasser Arafat name is synonymous with the Palestine. PLO stand for Palestine Liberation Organization. Number J. The Oslo Peace Award was signed by Yasser Arafat and Robin in 1993. So boys and girls, this part D is exempted. This is not the part of your syllabus. I will cut it by the end of this discussion. Then secondly, there are a few questions for you. Who defined the democracy as the government of the people of the for the people and by the people? This was defined by Mr. Abraham Lincoln, who was the president of America. Secondly, which are two Greek words from which the word democracy is derived? Number one word is demos and second one is kratos. Number C, write down the 5 important aspects of democracy. They are government by the people, then people have the equal rights, then there is a justice, then there is a situation of law and order, then there is separation of judiciary from the remaining tasks within the country for or from the government. Lastly, write briefly about the 4 conditions essential for democracy to flourish. They are stability, free from class differences, education, and exercise of democratic rights. This is the part of the democratic rule or the government. Boys and girls, that is all for today's lesson for you. Go to the chapter, read the chapter again and try to revise all the topics that have been discussed before. Do your work and submit it timely in the Google Classroom. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.